Hey,
Hi,
it's Tash and Carly,
and you're listening to Motherhood,
not as we planned.
So get comfy, grab a cup of tea,
Or a glass of wine, and let's start talking about all the things too many of us avoid discussing. Hi guys, and welcome back to another episode. Please make sure if you were listening to this that you go and check out our new Patreon episode. Go and find them.
I feel like we've gotten a bit too open. Also, why have me and Tash turned up wearing? Was there some kind of uniform? I'm embarrassed. I mean, I've got an excuse because I packed limited. Well, I came in my outfit.
But I went upstairs and didn't know what you put on. How weird. Anyway, we're literally dressed as twins today. But yes,
We look like criminals.
we are. Make sure what we spoke about at Patreon, incriminating stuff we've shared. So don't miss out. Also, if you have emailed us in, we may be sharing your story on Patreon. So go
That's
over
true.
to
Yeah, I didn't think of that.
Yeah, go over to our Instagram and sign up. There's loads of
Guys, as well, I understand like subscribing to something, like it sounds like a big expense. When you work it out, it's literally £1 a week. That's like not even a coffee.
Yeah.
That's like, I don't know, put £1 less in your petrol a week. That's us.
Love that. And it's
That's
so
a good way of doing it. You couldn't even notice.
So worth it. And of course, always share, subscribe, like, follow,
We have noticed some really lovely reviews. I was going to say, when you
they are.
share them, they literally like make my heart burst. So thank you.
and the ones like, if you can do it on Apple, that would be amazing. Anyway, should we have a little catch up this week? I think I just wanted to share. Let's start this off with a positive mindset.
I'll say, because I'm coming in with quite the negative.
Okay, fabulous. I'm here for it. I'll start and then we can go downhill from there. So it was 2 years ago, 2 days ago, that I asked for a divorce. And this time last year, I think, like we know, the firsts are always quite like, it's that weird feeling.
Yeah.
You don't love them anymore, so why are you sad? But then you think of all these things and
You signed up for a life together.
absolutely, and it's also going to be meant to be our 10-year wedding anniversary on Saturday as well. So I've been in like a really like reflective place, and like I mentioned on Patreon, I looked back at some old conversations around the time that we split up. I don't know why I did it, but it actually made me feel really empowered, because seeing the person that I was 2 years ago, and I was genuinely begging for the bare minimum, and to what I am like now and the person I feel like I've become, I just feel like I've really turned a corner. I've been concentrating so much on my heartbreak that I've been going through over the last few months that I haven't stopped to reflect on how proud I should be about how far I've come in these 2 years. I think it's really easy to put yourself down and be like, oh, another relationship that's not worked, and feel like you've gone backwards. But no, if I hadn't done the work that I've done, I actually wouldn't have walked away from a relationship that I just ended.
That's so true, yeah.
Because
You would have accepted.
I would have accepted things that, like, my needs weren't met, his needs weren't met.
And that's important.
Absolutely. And as great as he was as a person, we weren't good for each other. And I just think, do you know what? Like, I'm doing so well. I'm now in. Thank you. Oh, thank you very much. I'm genuinely like finding myself and feeling happiness on my own.
That's big for you. Yeah, because you have been
I did rely on like external things and people, and I don't know, I just feel like, again,
You should feel proud.
I'm very aware that I may not feel like this all the time. Who feels great all the time? No one. But I don't know, I just think that I'm now really good. I'm loving it. So now
I'm coming in.
Debbie Downer.
Do you know what it is? I've had a really fucking hard week. Actually, before I got here, no, I've done it to you numerous times, haven't I? So, hey, Bex, a bitch. Actually, in the car on the way here, my mum called me. You know, when someone asks, like, how are you? Like, how are you really? And I have always been someone who deals with things on my own.
Mm-hmm. And that's not actually a healthy way.
It's not, and I know that. And actually, I'm working on it. I don't know what it is. I have a habit of letting things build up to a point where everything bubbles over the top and then it feels too much. And that's the only way I can describe it this week. It's not even like pinpointing one thing that's happened. It's a combination of things that have been building and building and building. And I think the thing that's in it over the top this week is my kids are coming back struggling after they've been away from me, and I'm feeling that worse and worse at the moment. And I'm finding when they're coming back, they're attaching to me, which I love, and we're trying to like reconnect. But I feel like Theo in particular is suppressing his emotions at his dad's, and when he gets back to me, he lets it all out. And he is, shaking. And he used to be like that at nursery. Like, he used to be amazing at nursery, and he'd come back and I'd be the one. And I know they say, like, they let it out with the person they feel safe with. And whilst that's a really nice feeling, it doesn't change how fucking hard it is.
Yeah.
And I've had a really challenging week with him. And then I feel like I've then shouted, and I feel like I've been shouting grumpy and miserable mum. And then I've just felt like a really bad mum this week. Sorry, I'm going to just take a sec. I don't want to cry this episode. Ugh. I've cried so much about this week. I feel like I've been a shit mum. I feel like... I think it's really hard when you're splitting your kids. And we spoke about it a couple of episodes ago about being the default parent.
Mm-hmm.
Being the person who takes on everything. And I think that has ultimately caused me to feel this way. I think I have felt responsible for everything, like fucking ridiculous things. And sometimes I sit there and I'm like, why is it always on me? Like, why is this down to me? Like, it's too fucking much. And that's where I've got to. And so then I felt like I've shouted this week. That's not the parent I want to be. And then I have this enormous fear that because I'm being that shouty parent, I'm the one reinforcing the boundaries. I'm, enforcing whatever it is. He's not going to want to live with me. And then he's going to want to live with daddy and his girlfriend. And that's where he wants to be. And I know that's like a self-destruct mode. Like, my boyfriend said to me, you're in self-destruct mode. And I just 100% was.
You just said that he lets out all his emotions at you.
I know.
Safe space.
I know that.
You've got to hold on to.
I know. I think it's really easy, and I kind of guess I want to normalize this because I'm sure I'm not the only parent who feels like this, but I feel like they get to go to daddy's and they get to do all the fun shit. And I'm sorry, I'm not trying to insult anyone who has their kids at the weekend and say it's not parenting, but it is just not the same as doing the nitty gritty of a week's routine when you're trying to get the kids to school and to nursery on time whilst trying to juggle your own work and the housework and the washing. And I don't know, it's been a build up of little things that have really fucking bothered me. And I'm actually fed up of keeping my mouth shut and keeping it in, because actually, ultimately, it's not fair. They are your kids too. And I think we need to stop just accepting that this default parent is responsible for everything. Why can't people step up?
Do you know what I think is really frustrating? And I really get it. We spoke about it, about, that mental load being like 95% on the mum.
I'd say 100%.
Yeah.
Okay, 100%.
Yeah, I really get that. But unfortunately, if I were to try and put some of it onto him, and
this is the problem.
The only person that's going to end up getting let down is the kids.
I agree. And that's why we do it.
Yeah. And unfortunately, there isn't really, like we've always said, and it's no different when it comes to this mental load and the co-parenting. You can't force someone to do something.
And that's where I'm at. And I've accepted that, but it's still fucking frustrating.
Okay. We're going on our first co-parenting holiday next week. Do you think he knows where we're staying?
Yeah.
Do you think he knows how we're getting there? Has he bought anything for the kids? Does he know how we're telling them? Like, it's frustrating. The frustration is unbelievable, but you've got to accept who.
I agree. No, I agree.
And I, sometimes I might make little digs here and there. I'll be like, oh, have you got them anything to wear? Just no. He'll be like, what? Like, he doesn't even know what shoe size they are.
No.
Yeah, I mean, so you're not alone. And I know that sometimes that doesn't help you in that moment. Sometimes when people are like, oh, you're not the only one.
I just feel I feel like there's like, when like life admin comes through and I feel like I've got a billion tabs open and none of them get closed and it's all on me. And I have this finite amount of time to work, to earn money, to clean the house, and
sometimes you've got to choose, okay, am I going to have to tidy house but then I get that work done?
Yeah, and that is a daily choice. Right. But then it's like, where do you come into it? Where does my well-being and health come in? I am bottom, and I've spoken about it before. This week, my needs have not been met. Mm-hmm. It was like, I said, like, my mum said to me, like, how are you doing? And I was like, honestly, I'm just about holding my head above the water. Mm-hmm. And that's how I feel. And I know it's not always going to feel like this. And actually talking about it has really helped. And like,
I know it doesn't help when people are like, oh, don't worry, I get it. I'm there too. Because in that moment, you're like, I don't actually care about anyone else. I feel this way. But there is still always something very comforting when, can you imagine if you said this and I was like, I really don't understand what you're talking about.
Get over it, girl. Yeah. No, I do agree. And that's why we do share what we share. One thing I will share that really helped me. My boyfriend this week has been amazing. And I really value that he gets the parenting side of it. Yeah. And he has his kids 50% of the time. And his kids are older. So I feel like he's been through like the shit of having kids is hard. But he said to me, when he feels overwhelmed with like what he has to do, be it work or life, he writes a list and does it as
priority, the most important.
No, what's important and what's like essential. And then anything that doesn't fall into that list, you forget about that week. So it's like, and that's really helped me. And it made me, because I sometimes, I feel like I write a list trying to like compartmentalize things. And then I look at the list and that makes me feel more overwhelmed.
I avoid lists because I'm worried that I'm going to see how much I need to do.
That's where I've got, and then I almost feel paralyzed and don't do anything.
Yeah.
And then it's a vicious cycle. And yeah, it's been a tough week for me. It has.
And I get that. And do you know what? I actually feel like I was like that last week, and
you were, yeah.
And look at me this week. So it just...
No, I know. And I know
got to ride that way of it's shit.
And today this has pushed me. My mum said to me, is there anything I can do? And I've asked for help for something, which I don't do a lot of. I don't ask for help. And I'm just going to be honest, I don't get a lot of help from anyone. I do a lot more than people probably imagine on my own. So this is another thing. I think this is it. It's thinking about the holidays. It's when we were talking about how I'm going to record the podcast. Yeah. Theo won't be in school. Milo's nursery closes. He's got childminder one day. I'm going to have both kids with me whilst I'm juggling my work, which currently I use 3 days for in the week. Mm-hmm. How am I meant to just... That doesn't just exist, and people it's so overlooked. And
look, we've got 6 weeks of the kids off of school. My ex-husband's got them for 1 week. I had to ask for that.
This is what I'm asking. I think 5 days.
I think that he thinks that
he's amazing.
Yeah,
and it's wild, isn't it?
But you've got to.
It's stuff like that. I'm like, this is like it's. But now I am going to ask for help. I'm going to ask my mum to help me. I'm going to see if she'll have them 1 day a week, or even for an afternoon a week, or whatever it is. But it's a lot, and I think it's important to normalise that as a single parent, even as a parent, trying to juggle the school holidays with
as a healthy co-parenting relationship, it still gets frustrating. We still have arguments. Like it's just one of those things, and hopefully in time it does improve. You've got to set those boundaries. You've got to work with what you can, and you've got to, like we always say, make sure you respond rather than react.
And you know what? I have been good at holding space. Yeah. I really have been and I'm really proud of how I've handled things, but I'm also quite proud of how I'm standing up for myself more and holding my boundaries and being like, actually, this is what's happening. Yeah. And I've not done that.
I love that. Guys, I wanted to quickly share something with you because I just thought it was really funny. So the other day, I don't even know why, I unpaused my Hinge.
You just went a little window shopping.
Yeah, I did a bit of window shopping. I'm not on it anymore because I'm not looking for that. But then I actually thought, this actually could be quite good market research for the pod. And I screen recorded some things because they just made me laugh. Like, this is what is going on Hinge at the moment. If anyone wants to know, are you ready? I'm going to read a few profiles.
I see pictures.
This is Daniel, okay? He's not a bad looking guy. Are you ready for his profile? I'm going to read it to you guys, okay? These are his prompts. My greatest strength, being perfect. This year, I really want to be perfect. Does anyone actually match with him? Should I match with him and offer him my Be Perfect discount?
I just don't. It doesn't let you know anything about him.
But like, yeah, it does. It lets you know that he's an absolute
twat.
Yeah. So that was one that I thought was hilarious. Here's another one. This is Jeremy, okay?
Oh, we're revealing real names.
Yeah, who cares? This is Jeremy, okay? Together, this was really, really weird, and I don't know if this is legit, okay? Do you think this is legit? Together we could go for a coffee. I work between City, Marylebone, and keen for daytime post-work. See next prompt for more info, okay? The next bit, more info. Speak to Isabella, my ops coordinator, who is running this account. Hit her up with a coffee emoji and we'll arrange. You can also ask us anything. Then the next bit. I hate dating apps, endless swiping, chats, never meeting. Hopefully this new strategy will be more fruitful. And then he's put in brackets, profile written by Jeremy, chat managed by Isabella.
I sadly actually think that's true.
Have you ever in your life, he had got his like PA to run his Hinge? I wanted to message.
Can I just say, like, if that's not a red flag that this man can't communicate, I don't know what is.
But like, I didn't know if he was being banterish or whether
that's not banter.
You think this is legit?
Yeah, I reckon he's like a businessman and he's like, see my PA Isabella.
Like, sure. What to the house? Also, you're probably fucking Isabella.
I don't trust Isabella. You're fucking work, honey. Another one.
Okay, and then the last one I just thought was funny. Someone wanted to match with me and they put reasons to match ... So I haven't matched with this person. He's sent
sexy
me
photo,
babes. So he's put here reasons to match. I shower consistently.
Bare minimum.
Have no cavities. Sorry, has he been watching our icks? Like bad teeth, bad hygiene. I'm 6'5". Okay, that's what.
Look very young. Yeah.
I don't drink. I love oat milk pancakes.
Oh, you got an allergy to lactose.
I will not hit on your friends or embarrass you in public. Agree now that you're always right. And then he's put here, hearts you, but his name's not. It's Abraham.
Maybe he knows. Got catfished again.
Oh my God,
I've been catfished again.
Guys, we mentioned on Patreon about a catfish experience.
Cash gone. Catfish.
By someone called. I've only just realised he's put here.
Do you know what I think?
I'm scared.
Do you think I reckon that's related.
Do you think?
Yeah.
Anyway. Okay, there's one more, okay? This was a guy's prompt. I saw it and I was like, just send help. And then I paused it again. You should not go out with me if...
Oh, you sent me this.
Your boobs aren't at least a C cup. I'm a boob guy and this is important to me, just being honest. I think I'm going to reply.
That would be me out.
I mean...
I'm an A these days.
I think I'm going to reply saying you should not go out with me if your dick is less than 6 inches because it's really important to me that we have good sex. Sorry, just being honest.
Imagine
So anyway, that was a little Hinge update. I might unpause it again in a few weeks for a bit more content.
No, I feel like it's great content.
Maybe I should just do a bit of market research on there for you guys. Let me know your thoughts. Send in any funny prompts, anything that you get on your dating apps. I feel like it's hilarious. / that's the sad reality of dating.
So we speak a lot about really sad, terrible stuff that's happened to us, and we asked for some happy endings, not that kind. So I'm going to share some. We're going to share some today because I think it gives people hope. And actually, I saw one come up as it got sent in. She was like, I've wanted to write in, but I didn't think like this is what you're after. And we do like giving people hope because it's not.
There's no here, good, bad, disgusting, sexy. Send it.
Okay.
Guys, gals.
Gonna go for this one. My happy ending. blue heart.
Cute.
You asked for happier stories in your Instagram post, so here is mine. Rocky in patches, but the plot twist I never thought I'd be lucky enough to get. On a side note, thank you for being a slice of realism and strength for some of us women who have struggled, got help, but sometimes have darker moments despite the ray of light. I'm reminded every week when I listen that I'm lucky and grateful.
I love that.
Love that. My journey, I'm not going to say her name just in case, but this started 2.5 years ago. I had just turned 29 and got ghosted by a man who had sold me the dream. The dates were dreamy, we had slept together, and then he was gone. No explanation, and I was devastated. I was used to bouncing back and trying again, but this time I couldn't. I sank lower than ever before. Those closest around me could see it, and I chose to bury it. By the January, I knew I needed help, so I invested in myself. I started swimming, admitted I needed some extra serotonin in tablet form, and began therapy. A long journey followed, and I was daunted by the prospect of turning 30 and being alone. My 2 best friends were in long-term relationships. I see now I was bitter of others' happiness and my emptiness. However, I downloaded Bumble at the start of December 2022. No real intention of finding the one, as I truly believe I was destined to be alone. No serious relationship for almost 5 years. Mindlessly swiping, and I received a message from Jay. We talked all night. My smile was back. Fast forward 24 hours and we were in the pub watching England crush out the Winter World Cup to France. We were both hesitant at the start, both hurt terribly in the past. Spontaneous trip to Portsmouth over that new year of 2022, and we were smitten, in love, and genuinely had found my one. He is my always. Without effort or strain, he is there. I never understood the concept of a partner being your best friend, but now I realise I was trying to fit the wrong cube for the mould. It's not been easy, and we've overcome a lot of shit thrown our way. Exes, redundancy, job stress. But there's a ray of light, so to speak, in our future now. We are now living together, and at the age of 31, he's a year older. I know he will be my husband and father to my children, if we are lucky enough. Regardless if that is in our path, I am content and at peace with it being us two always, our bubble. I hope this is the happy you wanted.
Love that. Like, honestly, that's just so nice. Thank you for saying that. Happy endings. Morning, ladies. Thank you so much for your podcast. I think I'm addicted. I just listened to your latest episode and that you wanted some positive stories for next week. Just to be transparent, I don't listen because I've been through the same as you guys, but because some of my friends love that. I've also seen a family member cheat on his wife and tear the family apart, so I've seen it from both sides. My heart goes out to you and all the other women who have been through this kind of heartbreak, but I just wanted to reassure you that there are good men out there. I've been married for nearly 14 years to the most amazing man, and we have 2 children together. I know I might sound naive, but I'm 99% sure that he'd never cheat on me. He's kind, caring, thoughtful, pulls his weight around the house and with the kids, and still makes me feel special 16 years on from meeting him. I promise you there are some decent men out there, and you will all meet the right person for you when the time is right. Trust the timings. It will be worth the pain when you're a million times happier than you were with your exes. And Carly's, don't doubt what you've got now. He sounds and his arm looks incredible. And his arm looks incredible. Like, it's not making me tear up. Hash, you've got this. Oh God, here we go. Try and enjoy just being you for the time being. I know that's not a gripping or exciting story, but have faith, ladies, and don't settle for less than you deserve. Thank you for being our virtual besties. Thank you. Do you know what? Listening to messages like that. Oh God, I've got makeup on my fucking top.
Oh God,
no,
I was not as if I wasn't going to cry.
No, my lashes are fresh.
Don't ruin the lashes.
I agree with everything you said, and I think that it's actually nice to have some happy tears because these are happy tears. I think previously I'd read that and be really sad, but I know my time will come. Like, genuinely, now I'm in that headspace where I'm like, I deserve it. I'll get it. If everyone else is going to have it, why can't I? And I want to put that message out to people that are feeling low or shit. Like, it doesn't have to be that way. And eventually you do need to take your life, like, by the reins and realise that we do control our happiness.
Yeah.
I know that might be really hard to accept or believe, because it wasn't that long ago that I genuinely was, and sometimes still am, worried that I won't find that person. And I'm not going to sit here and pretend that I'd be okay if I don't find that person. But my headspace now is, I don't need to worry, because I will. And I want people to get to that point, because what you put out, you're going to get back. So thank you for that.
Yeah, I just wanted to say on that, like, it is so hard when you've had your trust broken in a relationship, not just a relationship, in a marriage, to then be with someone else who gives you all the green flags and you still doubt it. And that's been something that has been the biggest battle for me over the last year. And it has really only been like the last couple of months where I'm at a place where I can say I genuinely trust him. And I know that sounds really bad because I've been with him over a year, but a lot of my issues weren't from him. And I found it the biggest challenge to just, sometimes I felt like my walls have gone down and then, like they'll quickly go back up again because I'm so scared of getting hurt. But I think it is really important to remember, like, not everyone is a shit person and there are really good people out there. And I don't, just hearing that just made me like feel like just enjoy it. Stop always worrying. But it's not going to happen.
Yeah.
And I know that. Yeah. Like, I genuinely know that. And I think maybe sometimes that's scary in itself.
And I think she said, like, I don't want to be naive, but I'm 99% sure he won't cheat. Like, I don't think that's naive. Like, I know, hand on heart, my ex-boyfriend would never have cheated on me.
Yeah.
Like, you can know.
Hi ladies, love the podcast. I listen as a married woman and mum of 2, and honestly, you have me cracking up some episodes and sobbing on others.
I love that married people listen.
I know. I always think it's just single parents. I don't know why. Well, I do know why, but writing in because you wanted some happy stories, and I think this counts. Me and my husband have been married 6 years and together 10. We have 2 beautiful children and a host of furry babies too. We had a really tough 5 years, I would say, maybe 6, so the entire length of our marriage really, because I was having doubts in the run-up. Basically, my husband has an issue with alcohol, and although he doesn't like the label, is a functioning alcoholic. With all the usual side effects, lies, poor behaviour, degrading language to me, etc., the full package. I won't go too much into it because that's not what the story is about. We were on the brink of separating and just living together and existing, as both of us were clearly unhappy and had also started to seek the attention from others that I was lacking at home. However, I then fell pregnant with our little boy, which brought on a whole host of new emotions, and we weren't sure whether we would continue with the pregnancy because of our situation. The guilt of this now, when I'm in a healthier and happier frame of mind, is soul-eating, by the way. We continued with the pregnancy and were unhappy throughout, and it was a really dark period for me. But as soon as our son was born, it was like a switch turned. He stopped drinking, completely cold turkey. I put more effort into his needs and was also able to re-enter my feminine energy. We are now 6 months down the line and he hasn't had a drink. He has more time and energy for our children and family and is returning to the man I met 10 years ago, if not improved. We still have huge triggers between us, but we recognise them and make more effort. Obviously, we adore our little baby boy, who was the puzzle piece we didn't know we needed. And as cliche as it sounds, a baby really did save our relationship. I pray it continues because this is where I want to be. I just forgot for a while, I guess.
Joe, it's really interesting because I feel like relationships definitely can go through really down times, and it can be brought back together. And I think that's the truth of it. Like, if you are both on the same page and you both have that willingness to also, like, I feel like it's absolutely vital in a relationship to have that willingness to grow together.
Yeah.
And the fact that he's doing what he can to stay clean, you're doing what you can to support him, like, it's being a team. And I think it's vital to be with someone that has a willingness for growth.
Yeah, and I think it's also really important to recognise every single relationship will have ups and downs, and I think that is so important. I don't believe that a healthy and good relationship is just a relationship where everything's good all the time, because you need to know that when bad stuff happens or when you're going through harder times, that you can both pull together and unite and problem solve and work through those as that team. And I actually think that's what makes you stronger and makes your love grow in different ways.
Yeah, no, thank you for that. And we really hope that
it's nice to have a different perspective of like a happy ending, you know, something a bit more challenging.
Yeah. Should we do one more? Okay, so this one's called Happy Ending. I've been thinking about writing in for a while, but didn't think you'd be interested. So when you asked for some happy stories, I thought I'd send you mine. Me and my partner have been together for 8 years. We fell pregnant accidentally after 3 years together. Our daughter was born and he was the most incredible dad, very present, very hands-on, helpful around the house. However, towards me, he's never been the most affectionate person. He was never horrible, but wasn't very overly nice to me either. We got into the typical pattern of just working, parenting, and just existing in the same house, not really feeling like we were in a relationship. He wasn't really bothered about having another child, but I really wanted a second, and he agreed. He didn't want our daughter to be the only child, and luckily we fell pregnant quickly. This is when the problems escalated. He wasn't interested in the pregnancy, didn't want to talk about the baby, just kept mentioning how hard it would be. He was still amazing towards our daughter, and around the house throughout all of this just felt extremely distant towards me, which was extremely tough as there was a few complications and I felt like I was going through it alone. Our second child was born, and for the first few weeks I really felt he loved me again and we were back to being good, but this didn't last long and we were arguing more and more. I was breastfeeding our second child and I felt like he had no interest in him, just our older child. He later admitted he struggled to bond with him. It all came to head after months of constant arguing and trying to resolve our problems. I asked him to leave and he left with no arguing. When we spoke the next day, we agreed to go to a relationship counsellor. He was reluctant, but the person that was recommended didn't have space for 8 weeks, so we just tried our best to get along until then. I didn't feel like counselling would work for us, as he rarely speaks about his emotions, and if I tried to bring anything up, he would just shut down. To try and cut this down a bit, all I can say is the relationship counsellor has changed our life. We are both much more affectionate, respectful to each other, and there is just so much love in the house. We had around 8 sessions in total, but it helped us both feel understood and see things from other points of view. He is the most incredible dad and partner who always puts all our needs above his own. I was really sceptical that it wouldn't last. 18 months later and we are happy as ever, now engaged, and I can't wait to be his wife. In our case, there was no cheating or anything major that happened. I just feel like we fell out of love with each other and lost each other in the fog of parenting and life. I hope this gives someone some hope out there that things can improve and you can get your relationship back if you both really want it.
And that is it. They both wanted it.
And do you know what's so nice is when they were going through all that, like that very like mundane, like not really showing affection, that's where the weak men and women stray.
Yeah.
They didn't.
Yeah.
They fought for it. They came back together and look what they've got and look what you could be missing out.
I never hear about positive like relationship therapies. I think because in my own situation, it was
by the time you're going, it's like it's already.
Well, I'd never been, but
I went.
Yeah, you went.
Damage had already been done.
Yeah,
and I was holding on for dear life, and
he lied his way through it.
So this is just so nice and refreshing because I also think like any therapy, sometimes people see therapy as a bit of like a taboo subject. Like, oh God, if they're going to therapy, like, is it really worth it? Like, oh, if you need to go to therapy, then your relationship isn't worthy. But actually, like, no one is taught how to be in a relationship. No one is taught how to deal with conflict in the best way for not just yourself, but the other person. And actually, there is so much that I've learned in my therapy that I wouldn't know, and I wouldn't know how to bring certain things into a relationship and to the table to sort it out without my therapy. I'm not suggesting that everyone in a relationship should go to therapy, but I think there's something actually that is so great about it to improve a relationship because we're not taught these things.
No.
Like, it's like becoming a parent.
I think it depends on like the kind of communication you have in a relationship. I'll tell you why. But in my marriage, therapy would have massively helped because I didn't have the tools to, not that I couldn't communicate my needs, but I don't feel like as a couple we had the tools to be able to articulate those conversations and there be a purpose or it be heard or that kind of thing. the relationship I'm in now, and I don't know if this has only happened because we've both been in marriages that have broken down and we've both done the reflection as to why, and we've both taken lessons. But I feel like from the outset, we've always, and not always communicated the best, but I feel like we're both open to that growth of the communication. And, you know, like particularly at the start, my way of communicating was probably quite accusatory, whereas now I'm way more conscious and I feel like I'm learning how to communicate those things better. And I feel like it's so dependent on the person you're going through these things with in terms of how you can grow and make those improvements. I love the fact that you've done this together. It shows that solidarity, that you are a team. And it's just so refreshing to hear a really positive outcome of something, like you say, where people could have strayed.
It's that really normal, like, do you know what?
Yeah,
like,
life changes.
How the cheating starts. It is that lack of intimacy, lack of excitement. And you're doing that every day, Monday, and he goes to work, you're with the kids, affection, blah, 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 blah. And then people just make bad choices that
they get their dopamine hits from other sources.
Tarnishes the foundation. So I'm so happy for you. Like, this is so lovely. And this is a sort of example of fighting for a relationship when, like, it's never going to be all roses and daisies. Do you know what I mean?
And that's the reality of life.
Rather than just running away at the first hurdle, you
face it together.
Absolutely. So I love that. Okay, let's finish with a confession of the week. We've actually got someone that's emailed in and they've put happy ending confession.
Okay.
Are you ready? Hi girls, love the pod. You said that you wanted happy endings, so I wanted to share mine. Slightly different because there's something that I did within my relationship that wasn't good. And although this is my confession, he now knows about it and we're stronger than ever. Me and my husband, who had been together for 10 years, were at first perfect. But once we had 3 children, things just got very mundane. I mean, cool. We literally just said that. Very normal. My neighbour a few doors down is someone that I used to know. He was very attractive. He was married too. We bumped into each other and he started giving me attention that I felt like I was really lacking at home. I'm never condoning this sort of behaviour, but I've got to be honest, the dopamine hit that I got from him really made me feel special. It also made me realise that I just wasn't happy in my relationship. Cut a long story short, we did start talking and I guess you could say we had what one would call an emotional affair. Eventually, I realised that this wasn't the right thing that I wanted to do and I didn't want to break my family apart. I told my partner, and luckily for me, he was really understanding because he realised that he wasn't giving me what I needed and I wasn't giving him what he needed. We ended up going to therapy. It was the best thing that we ever did. 2 years on and we've never been better. I know a slightly different confession, but my confession is that I did, in theory, cheat, but I was honest, told my partner, and we are now better than ever. And I'm so grateful for him for putting it aside and us realising that we are actually amazing together. Thanks, girls. Keep doing what you're doing. Love the pod. Oh, do you know what? Like we've always said, you can come back from things. And I think that her honesty probably really helped. He didn't find it out from someone else or catch her. She came forward. And like we've always said, it's showing that remorse. It takes two. It's someone being able to let it go and not hold a grudge or hold it against them. And I actually really respect that he took some responsibility for it, like knowing, like owning, like, you know what, we're not good. I kind of see why
I'm not beating on it.
Yeah. So thank you for that. Guys, we loved this week's episode. Thank you for listening.
I'm going to give you an affirmation.
Do it.
You will get your happy ending you deserve.
I will.
You will. Affirm it. Believe it. And so will you. And you. And you. And you.
And what's that? And you. And you. And you. You're gonna love me. No? Is that not a song?
It rings a bell, but I don't know if the tune's right.
Anyway, I'm tone deaf. Thank you, guys. Love you so much.
See you next week.